Okay, everybody, welcome. Call us to order, 5:03. And we need to do our meeting notes for March 12th and of course have a typo. And I meant to put in March 26th. So we should do March 12th first. Frankly, couldn't approve them last time because we needed. Have you read them over?
I have, I applied the same size. Is that what you wanted?
No,
Oh.
we need to approve our minutes.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it has nothing to do with the
Yeah.
people number stuff.
12 looks good.
I think it looks good.
12, yeah.
Okay. So can I get a motion to approve in a second? Three. Okay, 3-0 for that. All right, now on to the 26th, which is our last meeting, which. I only saw one little typo, Callie, it's an RFP, not an RFP. No.
I was sitting on my foot a minute ago. Oh, well, back to you. Well, just got inside.
Oh, and this one comes in.
Yeah.
Make a motion to approve with corrections.
Okay, now second,
Good.
second, all in favor? It was corrected. Thank you very much. Thank you. Okay. Harbor master report? That's you, you're the harbor master.
Really nothing there since last time. I mean, we had the camera go down during the storm. I've had 3 people this week reach out for moorings.
Do you recall Lucy Lucy sailboat?
That wasn't in our last report. We had, no, we talked about the sailboat. Yeah, that was in our last one. Two of the 3 requests are non-residents, one's from Westport Island, one's from Edgecombe. And they have moorings in Edgecombe and Westport, they just want to move them to Gaslight. We also talked about the, waiving the launch fees this year, because that place is a mess down there with the boat ramp. So I know Dennis gave Ted the go ahead to rip that down. But it's gonna be an inconvenience for anybody using it, so Dennis said we should probably waive the launch fees this year, just because that's not up and going. So are we doing that? Because people are calling and coming in and want to pay their launch fees. So we need a decision on that.
Okay.
I mean, I would say that I agree. I don't think it's appropriate to have to charge someone for something that isn't full use, and we don't know. I mean, obviously, as soon as possible, we'll get a new ramp or float in there, but if it's something that's not gonna happen the entire season until fall.
I thought last meeting we talked about having them walk like normal and using the other side of the concrete here as their attending there.
We did talk about that, but it's still gonna be an inconvenience.
How do you feel? You want to waive it?
I feel like we should waive it just because it's not open.
Yeah,
Has it eroded more? On the, if you're facing it on the left?
No, I don't think it's eroded.
No.
It's just when the inconvenience they're gonna have now is when they launch their boat. When they get the boat off the trailer, they're gonna tie up that ramp. While they go tie up the wreck load or the commercial load, and then go back to the truck and move it and pull it out of the water, unless they have 2 people. And then they're gonna have to do the same thing. when they pull their boat, they're gonna have to back in, go get their boat. So it's gonna be an issue this year.
Are the diggers still using it?
Yeah.
They're on a regular basis, are they?
Yeah.
Yeah, but that's in out.
Their boats are small enough, they just pull them up and drag them up and then go put the truck in, but,
They've got hip boots on.
yeah.
As long as you're comfortable with it.
Yeah, I mean, I just think we need a decision, we've talked about it a couple times and no one's ever made a decision.
Right.
I mean, I don't know, can we make the decision or does Dennis have to make the
We
decision?
just make a
I think
recommendation.
you can, it's harbor master.
All right, we
I
waive
believe
it.
you can, yeah.
All right, I say we waive it this year until we get the amenities down there that we were charging them for.
Right.
I say we waive it.
So should a recommendation go to the select board too, together?
Well, I think we should
Waiving
recommend to the
fees.
town manager and then go to the select board.
I was gonna say, let Dennis be the gatekeeper of what comes to us and what doesn't, because honestly,
Okay,
I
That's
never
fine.
know.
well, it would go to Dennis first.
Right.
Yeah.
That's part of it.
Yeah.
So
Dennis was-
send it to the
Dennis was the
town
first one.
manager and the select board like we did with the other.
Yep.
And that we recommend
Yeah, we'll send them,
a memo.
Mhm.
Okay, perfect. So does that require a vote?
I would say so.
Okay. One,
Yeah.
second,
Motion,
all in favor?
all in favor, it's like,
Zero. Okay,
just like the harbor master recommended.
okay.
And other than, I mean, people are registering their moorings, we've got a few people that wanna sell their moorings that have reached out. One guy said he's willing to sell his moorings with the town. He said it's right in line with the 3 town moorings we have.
Mhm.
And I know Bill Maloney was talking that the town should have a couple of moorings that they rent out long term, so that may be an option, but I think he wants upwards of $1,000 for his mooring, which is probably pretty cheap, but if you buy it, we have to go all through it to make sure it's gonna
Well,
be,
it's it, I mean, for the town liability, we've got to pull the stone up,
yeah.
make sure all the gear's good, staples good, the chain's good. You know, we've got to go right through it, so.
Right, so it's one of those things if the town wants to do that or not,
and
I
I
don't,
circle back to, I don't feel like the demand is there
yeah, we have
for
three,
them to rent on a line.
Yeah.
It's just, it's not there.
we have 3 moorings, so we've never rented all 3 out at once. We were close during, Schooner Fest.
I've got a tentative departure of Virginia of, April 21.
Okay.
If and when it firms up, I'll let you know. Otherwise, that's the thing. Do you know when the other boat's gonna go?
I sold that. Yeah, he sold it. The harbor master in Newcastle bought it. So I talked to him, I told him, it had to go in April. So he was good with that. We haven't firmed up a date, so maybe I should reach out to him and, find out.
Who's the harbor master up there now?
I'm not sure. I knew his
The
name.
guy with the boatyard?
I have no idea. Honestly, I have no idea. He wasn't at the harbor master training.
Mhm.
He wasn't aware of the training.
Mhm.
His last name
I
is
just-
Delisle.
What?
Delisle. Okay.
Oh, and there is a sailboat. You all seen it, the sailboat that's right in front of the yacht club that hasn't moved in the 3 years I've been here. As harbor master, 2 years. Dave King says that boat needs to come out of the water. And I respect Dave's opinion.
I believe
It's Barry Todd.
Barry Todd's.
Yeah. So we're trying to put something, Callie's working something in the, ordinance about the mooring field not being a storage yard for boats. Dave King says the reason that boat is there is because Barry lives in Woolwich and his driveway is straight uphill, he's got no place to store that boat on his property. So he got a mooring and put it on those. My concern is it's gonna end up like the other boat that sunk, it's just gonna, I mean, we're just sitting there watching it. I mean, Kelly and I see the kelp growing on it every year. And it's just getting bigger and bigger.
Is he pumping it out? Someone.
Yeah,
Well, that hurts. Me too.
Dave said he was tending it quite a bit for a while, but he hasn't seen him down there in months. And we could probably find out with the camera, we can backtrack, but, so we're probably gonna be working on getting that boat out of there.
To have him take care of it, not us.
Yes, oh,
Yeah.
yes.
Yeah.
We don't even deal with another
Nope.
boat.
No, and I mean, I think that we have learned a steep lesson in, getting on top of these things, and we seem to be just 5 minutes behind the curve twice now, so.
Well, the problem is the law is not on our side when it comes to that. We're technically, we're not supposed to touch a boat for 60 days. If it's out in the harbor, we're supposed to, for 60 days, we can't touch that boat. And then if we are gonna touch it, we have to do a request to, what was it, land?
Submerged.
Submerged lands. We have to do a request to submerged lands. They review our complaint. And then they tell us whether or not we can pull it. But by that time, so this boat that was out here that we've been having issues with, David Murray's boat, with that one, we kept on David, you gotta pull your boat, you gotta pull your boat. And then we sent him a letter, giving him 7 days to pull his boat. And then it broke free on 5 days. 5 days into that, it broke free and ended up in Fall Cove. Now David came good with all that. Sea Tow came up, King's Tide Marine came up, and David paid them all. And then he paid another company out of Gray $1,000 to come pull the boat out. And now when we looked into pulling that boat out, and it was gonna go to Freeport, and it was $6,000. But he got it pulled for 1,000, so.
Well, I mean, and then we talked about how there were other sailboats in the harbor, and then we no more than said that, and a sailboat was going down the river, so.
Isn't there another boat out there right now?
There's 3 sailboats out there, yeah. So, but anyways, Callie's on it. Skipper Callie's on
So I have a question, what is the difference between using your mooring as a storage area and long-term rental or like that?
it. Because people want moorings. They want moorings in the harbor to use their boats, and they can't use that space that someone's storing their boat on a mooring.
Right, but isn't that his space?
It is, but is that what we want in a mooring field?
No, but I'm just wondering.
Well, I mean, I will say I have read so many ordinances, and they all have different rules, different things that they wanna do. Some of them say every single boat has to be out of the harbor. Some of them say you cannot have your boat on your mooring and have it not move for so many consecutive days. I think it was like 60, maybe I read. And anything more than that, then, the harbor master would reach out to you and ask you what you were doing or tell you that you're in violation of the ordinance. So, I mean, ultimately, I think it's a preference thing, but we see a lot of times in our harbor that in the winter time, the maintenance, the installers come out and they pull the ball and they drop the chain and then bring it back up in the spring, so.
And I don't think we would have an issue if somebody used their boat in the summertime and they just left it on the boat, on the mooring over winter. I don't think that'd be an issue. But the boats are getting on the mooring and then not moving. That boat, David Murray's boat that broke loose, David King told him when he bought that mooring that it was due for inspection. He put that boat on there, and that's what happened, the chain broke. It just rusted through. So he didn't have the boat, the mooring inspected like he was supposed to, and we have really no teeth to enforce it. Hey, you gotta get that inspected.
That was my next question. If they have to use it as winter storage, can we require them to show the harbor master a current repair list of the
Well, and that's,
updated?
well, with the online
updated
mooring,
inspection?
well, with the online mooring, that inspection checklist is there, and it has to be inspected every 3 years. And the only one that can do that inspection are the mooring people themselves. They can't go in and do their own inspection. Dave King, Ted Christie, King Tide Marine, they're the ones that go in and say, I inspected this mooring, this is what it has for change, and all that. The problem is, if they don't do that, what do we do?
That's what I'm asking.
You know what I mean? I don't know what we do if they don't follow that. the issue I heard when I became harbor master with the big minesweeper that some kids, everybody was blaming us, the harbor master, saying, the harbor master watched that boat sink, it sat out there was trees growing off it, and no one did anything. So I've heard that over and over and over, it's gospel, and Callie and I did the same thing, Dave Murray's boat, we watched it out there for a year and a half. We were after him, do something with it, and boom, next thing you know, it's on Pottle Cove. Could have been on the bottom just as easy.
Yeah.
So,
So that's why we need the ordinance.
so that's why Callie's working diligently on the ordinances.
Good.
But right now, we don't really, I think we're looking good, I mean, there's 3 sailboats out there. I think we have concerns with one of
Mhm.
them, and we're addressing that.
Great. Thank you.
Good.
Anything else? Yeah, perfect. Alrighty, so moving on to number 4, Pier Denver update, I just wanted to inform you all that at the select board meeting last week, I think, that the renewals were all approved. The only renewal that has not been approved is Ron and Forgotten Recipes and Sean Brown with the ATM. So, and the peer policies have been revised and corrected and have been stamped with approval and have been sent to Kathy or whoever they go off the town office. Just wanted to be aware.
Are all our peer vendor spots all ready to go
I think so.
with meters and everything's ready to go?
All I know is that
The
we,
Riverwalk, everything's ready to,
all I know is that we approved them, and I presume the next step is for them to get their
how do
electricity
we,
hooked
how do
up.
we find out that,
Huh?
how do we find out that everybody's, that we're ready to go again for this year?
How do you mean ready to, like with their
Like-
electric and all?
Yes,
I think it says
each
in our policy,
spot's metered.
right, so it says in our policy that, we have to contact Ted or the town garage when they want their electricity turned on.
Okay,
So I presume they will do that
okay,
when they're ready. I know Todd doesn't want electricity or need it. I know people have been invoiced and
okay.
that's.
Yeah, cause all I know is, from what I heard last year, the electrical data didn't go well as far as being built out. I mean, we
No,
know,
the, whatever reason, the meters are, they don't seem to be working.
that's what I'm getting at.
Falling out.
That's what I'm getting at, is we have electrical down there that we're supposed to be metering for, and we're not being metered. It's not being done.
You know, like the one behind the Providence thing,
Right,
there's no power.
right.
I'm not sure why, but,
Is that where?
all the way back,
The old chamber building,
The old chamber building?
yeah,
That outlet's not working?
those both of them.
2 of them.
Are they not turned on?
I don't know, they tried to find out, and then all of a sudden they run cords from it up to another place.
That's what I'm getting at, is in our policies that have just been approved,
Yeah,
we have no extension cord clause in there.
right.
That's why I'm trying to see if before we start another season on the pier, that our electrical that we're charging for is up to snuff and it's being metered, so the town of Scottsville's not paying for
Okay, so it seems to me that that's something that would go to the public works
it.
or
Mr. Dennis?
or the town or. Yeah,
I think that's another thing that we've talked about over and over and over again, and nothing ever gets done.
Right, that's what I'm getting at.
Um,
It's every year, it's the same
I
thing.
mean, I think if you got 7 spots on there, you need meters, just. You have
well,
electricity.
we've got the box that corresponds with the outlet.
But the
Why
meters
it's
are
not
metered.
working,
We have meters that it's not working.
Right,
there's something with that system is just.
So does that mean there's no power to the meter?
Not
I
now.
mean, if my meter's not working, I got no power in the house.
no, there's still power, but they're not being metered.
Right.
So the town of
So
Scottsville.
when you're saying meter, you're not talking a meter head.
No, I'm talking the little outlet that they plug into,
Oh.
with a tight outlet, runs back to a box by Sprague's Lobster area that the town owns, that our meters are in, but they're not working. And I wanna make sure that those are all working and the spot at the Riverwalk on the rec pier is metered, because it's not it has never been metered in the past,
No,
ever. It's just been turned on and left on
yeah,
at the expense of the town of Wisconsin.
It sounds like a recommendation in order
So,
to recommend that the electrical be checked out. And functioning correctly.
Right.
I know we just, had an electrician down there that unhooked the electrical to the wharf there that's gonna get torn down. He rewired a bunch of stuff in the harbor master office. The lights in the harbor master office are now on a switch. You can turn them on and off. They were on 24/7.
Yeah,
So that's been done.
good.
The cameras were put up, but, I mean, that was a only $500 bill.
well, that was a
Just the
$6,000 or
electric.
$8,000 deal to meter it out.
Right,
It's not working,
and it's not working.
no.
So I think,
And we're paying the power.
Well, shouldn't that been brought up before now, and so the electrician could have come back and
I
said,
bring it up every year. They can vote for this, every year, every year.
how many years we talking?
3?
Oh, so it's not gonna be any warranty work then?
No,
No.
it's just not happening, and I'm wondering, we as a committee should send a letter to our harbor master, who in turn would send it to the town manager, I believe. Because our harbor master is in charge of our harbor, so he could take our letter and give it to our town manager, and then our town manager could find somebody to find out what's going
I
on.
don't know that it needs to come to me, I think it
Yeah.
goes directly to the town
that's
manager.
Dennis, yeah.
Look on peer policies.
Right,
Yeah.
There's-
yeah, I mean, it's just been approved, so I wanna make sure we're ready to go for another season.
Okay,
We're gonna make a recommendation
Right,
to have the electrical checked out and
Right.
operating correctly.
Again,
again,
again.
and make, can you make that all vendor spots are metered, Sue?
Yep.
And checked out, including the rec pier, please?
So they have never worked?
There's none down there at the rec pier. It's always turned on the town's dollar.
No, she means.
Oh, at the, I believe when they were installed, they worked for a little bit, if I remember briefly,
Yeah, some of them.
and then they never worked after that.
No.
And nothing was ever done about it.
And it's all run, the whole length of the dock to get all the way to the back is gonna take, conduit, not a swim plan installation there.
yeah,
Right.
okay.
It should be simple, but
Okay.
it doesn't seem to be.
We'll
Does
look
it?
for the right person.
I think it should be simple.
Yeah, the recommendation, select board.
The only problem I see is,
And the select board.
I'm trying to protect us from, I'm trying to protect us as committee members, and because we're charging our vendors for electrical, and if we're not metering them properly, that's not a good practice, and I just want it accurate.
How you been charging them?
They pay $100.
They pay deposit,
Pay a deposit every year
Right,
of $75.
and what I've heard
But-
is that none of them go over, except Frank, and you get billed for the balance or
Right.
whatever.
That's what we were told, but nothing is ever,
So you just guessing,
there's no,
if there's no meter, you just guessing, Frank, goes over?
I pay the power bill on the dock, is what happens down there ultimately. And it's not a problem until they start running AC and coffee makers and commercial refrigerators, and that's all right. If they understand that up front.
That's right, if they're eating your lobster rolls.
Yeah, I mean, it's,
No, their lobster rolls are 135.
Okay, so, great, prepare a memo,
thank you.
okay? Thank
It's
you.
just long overdue, I think.
Yep.
I think we're setting ourselves up for
Okay,
an issue, and I just trying to be proactive, so reactive.
thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay, we all done with number 4? All right, Peter Wells. Nice presentation.
Hello, everyone. Good to be back in Wisconsin. I met with you guys back in January to discuss the option of creating a memorial park / bench area for a good friend of mine. And Cynthia Packard, who's on the ad hoc Attorney Gallerani, bench committee, of creating an area where we could raise money in order to buy a bench and some paving and some planting and do it down at the waterfront area. I was informed at that meeting that you wanted to see a design, and I have that with me today, and that I wanted to present that to see if you would consider supporting it, and we could take that to the select board in order for getting the necessary permits. So, with that in mind, by the way, Ernie lived on Federal Street, 2 or 3 doors down from where I used to live. He passed away this year, and his partner is still living there, Bob Bond, who couldn't make it tonight because he's at a memorial service for Ernie's mother. So,
Oh, gosh.
Bob is supportive of this, and so I'm going to present the concept, and bear in mind, this is just a concept. It can change and be altered, depending on what your thoughts are. So orient yourself, recreational pier, parking area, harbor master office, restrooms. These are all graphics from Schooner Fest that I stole. Because I built it.
Because they were yours.
The railroad. This is the area that we wanted to consider putting a memorial bench and possibly some paving and possibly one tree. We understand that this area, with the flooding that has occurred the past year, there's been quite a bit of erosion down there. That erosion is shown in hatched marking areas. We wanted to consider creating a bench area that would be back away from that. This is a blow up of that area. This is the parking shown there, the riprap, the grass area, the erosion area, and I'm not sure how that's slated to be remedied, or if the town's gonna end up putting in more riprap there, or but the overall option would be to parking area, creating an accessible walkway to a paved area, and paved meaning it will be in granite, similar to granite paving, cobblestone or curbing or edging that would hold the paving in place during flooding time when water does come up within the area. A memorial bench, which is style-wise similar to kind of a Central Park bench with just a small little plaque with Ernie's name on it when he was born and when he passed away.
Would that be bolted down?
Yeah, oh yeah, definitely bolted down. And would be weather resistant also. So it wouldn't have to be removed each year, it could just stay there. Maintenance wise, it would be rather simple, not a lot. We are proposing possibly a flowering tree behind it that would be salt tolerant because of the area that we're in. But the rest just grass. We may consider working with the garden club as far as creating some planting underneath the tree, but for now, just grass. Would be nice to do ground cover, annuals, perennials beneath the tree, but that might be a different thing. The other option that I thought about yesterday and drew up this option B would be, rather than create a walk, also I wanted to mention that this, we have the possibility of adding another memorial bench in case someone wanted to donate that and creating a larger sitting area. This is all a free amenity to the town as far as creating a place where people can sit, view the Sheepscot. This faces, the bridge. But it's a really nice tranquil area, as most of you know. So this has the possibility of adding onto it another memorial bench in case that came up at some future date. But the other option, rather than create a fully accessible pathway down to it, is to create a cobblestone, pavement beneath the bench itself, memorial tree, and just have the bench kind of sitting there. Similar to what we did on the town common for the, James Weldon Johnson bench. It sits there next to the walkway that is not accessible, so that doesn't need to be accessible, but this would create a nice little area that could easily be mowed around and a, flowering tree. Our committee will be looking for donations from various friends and relatives of Ernie. And it will all be paid for, the material installation will all be paid for by the committee. No money for taxpayer purposes. Maintenance wise, it's very little maintenance. The bench, the pavement doesn't need to be plowed during winter time. So it's a fairly simple design, as shown in the pictures. But quite a nice area that, you know, being part of the Schooner Fest, we were talking about creating this area and using some of the artifacts from, Vesper and Lose a Little, but that really hasn't been developed yet. There's still room for that to happen if you wanted to do it. This is just putting a memorial bench down there that people can use and enjoy. So that's our presentation and wanted feedback. I guess, I can answer any questions you might have, but, hopefully you would support something like this and we could take it to the next level. I'm not sure what permitting would be needed through the town, but, as a committee, we're willing to do whatever we can to consider making this happen.
Have you ever thought about, by Texas Gas? Is that something up?
That's a beautiful area.
Well, and it is a nice area.
Oh,
I don't know what it involves to be there.
That's my only concern is the flood zone is.
I know, this just within the flood zone and how that's gonna be handled in future years, we're not sure. It was a place though that Ernie used to frequent, so that was one of the reasons why we kind of picked this area.
I understand.
I think that area, Frank, that you mentioned, that's a gorgeous area. The view up there is,
Up on the hill.
oh, it's beautiful.
Yeah.
It's beautiful, and there's so many potential,
The town doesn't own that though, do they?
No,
no, it would have to go through a different permitting process, for sure.
but that might be something they'd embrace at that place, maybe.
It might, it might.
I have no idea. I really don't know.
I think we chose this because of Ernie's,
Yeah.
like of it and.
And other places up by the school,
Yeah.
back down in there, and
Yeah.
that's a beautiful spot.
It is, that's a beautiful
But
spot.
I appreciate what you're talking about, that's beautiful there.
Yeah, the school's a beautiful spot, but
Cassandra
we're
Road
designing a dog park for that one, though.
is on the climate change committee. And she showed us several projects that were flooded out at high tide or during storms. And she says, the best way to do that is with a green space on one side and a green space on the other side. Like if you were gonna run a walkway through that was consisted of asphalt, you'd have grass on one side, grass on the other side. And when that gets flooded, it doesn't erode.
Right.
So, I think this would probably come under that
Yeah.
as being a floodable project.
True.
And, she says they're very viable.
Yeah, and if we went with this smaller phase, I would specify, when we did get contractors to bid on this, that the outside cobblestone, be mortared. Not just dry laid. The inside cobblestone can be dry laid on stone dust and gravel, a foot of gravel, but the outside could be mortared so that it's one contained, space. And when it does get flooded, the cobblestone, we're gonna spec that, it's gonna be down at least a foot. So hopefully it won't, but you never know with this type flooding.
Did you have a question?
I did, but it got answered.
So you've got two different options here, right, Peter? Is
Yeah,
that what I'm seeing? Okay.
I'm not sure we can raise enough money for, this option is gonna be probably in the 25 grand range. With the pavement and with everything, this option is gonna be well below 10. So,
Well, I'm not sure if you're aware, but we just applied for 2 grants to get an assessment, a vulnerability assessment of our whole waterfront.
Yep.
And, I mean, like they just mailed, like 2 weeks ago. So that's hopefully in the works. And then we're going to, see what the results maybe are for vulnerability assessment.
Sure.
And, where we want to go from there. So I think it's a great idea, but it's.
That
it's
was
still-
my only
it's-
concern would
It's
be,
still gonna have to.
I hate to have this project all done
Mhm.
and then have to rip it out and
Right.
because the whole waterfront's being redone.
Well, I don't think we could.
I don't wanna do that. I wanna find a spot, I appreciate what you said, but I'd like to find a spot that
however,
you will see.
Well, that's a great spot, if they go for it.
if we go with something this simple and you have done your assessment
Right.
and it does say raise everything 2 feet. This can easily be dismantled and raised up. The mortar edge is a little tricky, but the rest can easily be, dismantled and redone.
And I think timing probably comes into it too. You probably would like to do this sooner rather than later.
We would.
Who knows how long it will be before, I mean, we'll do this study and then it will go out and.
I just don't wanna have them put this in and then have it ripped out because we're upgrading the waterfront and that's all gonna be riprap and I'd rather see us find a different spot, maybe a little higher, maybe up by the parking area up top, maybe, or
I looked at that area and
or
unfortunately,
where the parking spots come down and meet like the rail tracks, right in there's a nice little spot. That'd be up high enough that it wouldn't affect the waterfront. But, it's just,
that's down in this area.
yeah, like over in, like, back over here, right behind the, yeah.
We looked at areas along here, Water Street's here,
Right.
but it means retaining wall and we don't have that problem. But as I mentioned, this can easily be removed too. It's not as permanent as it looks on this wonderful rendering.
So the tree, there's a tree there, right? That's
Yeah.
the proposed, so the tree can wait, maybe.
Oh, yeah. Tree can wait, or trees can also be transplanted easily. We have not chosen the tree yet. It's gonna be probably a small flowering tree, that will be salt tolerant. And we're gonna try and get it as, a 2.5, 3 inch caliber, so it's gonna have some impact and some shade immediately. I don't like these small 6 and 7 inch high trees. They don't last.
Could it be planted in a pot, like a big pot, or is it?
It could, doesn't necessarily have to though. If you were to plant the tree and you change the waterfront in 3 years, you just root prune around it and move it. That's simple.
Is that something that like an arborist would do or?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
All I'm saying is, what I'm saying is about the concern about flooding was, I don't wanna have emotional ties to this spot and then have them be ripped up when we redo the waterfront. That's what,
Right.
you understand what I'm trying to say? You know, I don't wanna put that on that burden on anybody. But as long as you guys know that going in, that
We do.
that may be changed.
And if that happens and the budget doesn't carry removing this or changing it, come back to our ad hoc committee and we'll raise funds. Right, Cynthia?
It was, I just wanted to add that I spoke to Ernie last summer because we used to run into each other walking down, he'd get an ice cream cone. And I asked him what his favorite view of Wiscasset was, because I had done something like this for a friend in New York. And he mentioned it was sitting out there looking out for the bridge. So the placement of the bench is less the issue of than the view. So I can appreciate the concerns, but if we had to put it somewhere else, it would be more about, you know, a place where he would have sat to look out rather than behind school where he never went. So I walk my dog down there every day, so I know every inch of that area, so if you have another suggestion. Yeah,
Thanks.
I,
Okay, so where to go from here?
And I'll submit a copy of these two plans just for.
Oh, thank you.
I like the top one.
I like the top one. Yeah, I do too. Yeah. But the bottom one makes more sense at this time, in my opinion.
The bottom one can also, if we can't raise enough money for the top one, the bottom one can also play into this
Could expand.
concept design, and this can always happen from the bottom one. The pavement might be a little bit different, but the concept of adding another, this is located in the exact same spot. So this can always be added on for phase two. But yes, I do like the top one overall. we're worried about money.
I just think if we tried to do the top one and then we had to, he couldn't move it. It seems like it's way more permanent than the lower.
We have that much time.
If we had to move it because of.
True, that's true. Yeah, the top one.
But that'll be probably a couple of years out for like.
It would be more, yeah, more money to move it.
To show your
So
support.
maybe start with a smaller one, then expand.
Yeah, that's a good idea. Yeah, I like that.
Yeah, then you could
Start
expand.
small and then
That's
expand.
really
See how they,
All the
you see how our
stuff and the.
our fees go and see what we
See what the study says. Yeah.
That's what, right.
It's gonna say raise it.
Oh, yeah, that's what I'm thinking about.
It will.
Okay, so there's something we're willing to recommend that they take this to the next step. They go see this letter
So you want to know.
Yes,
and then they know what they're doing,
yes.
move forward. Okay,
So thank you.
You're
Appreciate
welcome.
thank you.
Thank you for the awesome drawings and
Sure.
great visuals and for coming. Thank you.
it. Sure.
Would you mind emailing me the details about this so that when I type of recommendation, I have the accurate information?
Okay, sure.
Which grass?
Do you have like a specification of like plan one or plan two? Like, I mean, I know you have two different options, but did you? A and B. Okay, I get it. Hand in hand. Okay.
Great. Okay, moving on. So. We have. We're opening on our committee. And I can see at least two applications for potential committee members. And, so what I'd like to do is set up an interview, and we can read kind of things with the committee members and go from there. So. I guess the first thing to do is to figure out when is a good time.
That's something that maybe the town manager should sit on to save steps also.
Well, no, we get to do it. So,
Is that what the handbook says? What's this handbook?
it's, I've got it right here. It's a- it's a community. Yeah. So we could set up an interview, I was thinking, we could all do like a meet and greet,
How about the steward? Will you be involved?
if she was, sure.
Mr.
I think-
Y'all gonna be involved in the interview process?
Y'all is,
Why not?
y'all is happy to.
So we could either, what's your pleasure, all of us meet and interview, or just a select few?
Yeah,
I think you all have to be involved.
What I've done so far is just, as a chairman of a committee, it was just me and another member of the committee, so that there's two people. You know,
Do you see a downside to having more? Do you see a downside to having more? More of the committee there?
no, but
probably easier to schedule.
it's,
Well,
it's a scheduling problem. I mean, when you, two people is hard to schedule for, three is, you know.
Well, what if we did
How about,
right before our meeting or right after our
how
meeting?
about you two and Terry? Well, Frank will just go with the flow, right, dude?
Okay, so,
Well, we discussed, we know.
Frank may want to be on that committee. Frank, you want to be on that committee?
No, I shouldn't be on
okay, so when,
Well,
how about interview dates and times? That I can offer the interviewees,
You know,
either before our meeting or after our meeting seems to make sense to me.
well, it probably would. So the next available time would be 4 weeks, right?
So that's in a month. So what if, well, maybe in a month, we may want another meeting,
Mm-hmm.
in the meantime.
Is that you three folks to schedule that?
Yeah, it's
Is
just
the
be
room,
me.
is the room free?
Yeah, Dick and,
Is the room here free in 2 weeks? Or in a week?
It probably is, but we don't have to meet in here. It doesn't have to be a public
Okay.
interview.
Okay,
Yeah,
That's
well,
not required.
as long as there's only two and not three of us,
okay.
doesn't have to be public.
Well, it couldn't be three of y'all. I'm not part of the forum, but yeah,
But you're part of the.
that is something to consider.
That's right.
I can do a Tuesday or a
Let's-
Wednesday easily.
Let's, Tuesdays are always very hard, but Wednesdays are good. So let's see if, when we get to it,
You know, like a calendar.
we've got two now, we have two.
And I heard that there's a third floating around, just hasn't made connection yet, so.
It's okay. What?
It's dinner time.
It is dinner time. How about, let's look at Wednesday a week, and then Wednesday 2 weeks, you and I, and go for it. We'll figure it out.
So you wanna do a Wednesday
I do,
in the morning or afternoon? Morning or afternoon?
afternoon,
Don't you look at this?
if possible.
Okay, and then there's a comp plan meeting next Wednesday afternoon.
Yeah, I was thinking 2 weeks.
It's Wednesday, okay.
Which is the 24th, is that right?
Yeah, I'll be away.
That looks nice and clear.
What day?
The 24th.
She won't be,
I'm sorry.
Away.
she's unavailable.
Oh, And on we go. So then it's Megan. Well.
Me first.
Tuesday, the 30th is okay too. I don't show any committee meetings that are that night.
April 30th? Okay, let's try
Okay,
April 30th and I'll put out some times.
yeah,
And I can be flexible, which is a Tuesday.
yep,
Okay,
all right.
so,
That way there'll be two committee members and one select board person, so we'll have
okay,
pretty good cross section.
okay. So, I personally would just like to chime in. Sure, it'd be nice to have somebody from the harbor master department, if we could.
To do what now?
I just,
To interview the new committee member.
Oh, that was a bad idea.
can we borrow somebody? Like Callie?
Absolutely.
Let's give her a.
Yes,
See how that kind of
We could be-
flows down, yeah,
I'm aware.
you've been there?
No. Okay.
We'll find it.
Upstairs,
Well, we
yeah.
should probably meet you. Meet you.
If we can,
Okay.
You deserve a medal.
but the thing is, people walk in and out, let's find a more, private. Maybe there's what they call the select board room, which is about this big.
Okay, perfect.
Up there.
Oh, it was Aaron's office for a minute?
It used to be Aaron's office.
Yeah. Okay,
That's where you were.
okay. Okay, good. So we'll get some questions together and,
Sounds good.
get in touch with our interviewees. Good, thank you, guys.
This is kind of cool, but when was the last time this committee had a new member?
It was Ron.
Yeah, a year ago,
Hmm,
yeah, 2 years ago.
All along, there's only been one person put in an application. So.
It's good to have interest.
There was no interview. Does that help them?
right, then they were just appointed.
Well, it was, we had different, leadership then.
We didn't have
Ron was
our,
here, yeah.
we didn't have our new, handbook, we didn't have a lot of procedures that we have to organize.
Okay. Alrighty, so moving along, there's a comp plan meeting next Wednesday night. And they're looking for priorities for that we have, that we would like to see in, as part of the comprehensive plan, which is a plan that spans 10 years, so all our projects wouldn't necessarily be done at once, but maybe bits and pieces. And I thought we could use our Riverwalk presentation sort of as a guide to, yeah, add to the comp plan. So we met with Cassie from the Climate Action Group last week and learned a lot more about the grants that have been applied for in the hopeful vulnerability assessment for the waterfront and what the flood levels will be by 2050 and things like that. Apparently, it's quite serious. And so anyway, they're doing a Earth Day on April 27th, and they wanted to invite the Waterfront Committee to have a table at this Earth Day celebration, and maybe have some of our projects sort of, a hopeful dream projects sort of focused on, so we can have a table. And I'd like, she's got some good pictures of, the commercial pier underwater, and what happened to the wreck pier and the launch ramps and how high up the tide came and the railroad tracks and all that, so.
Well, this is the first time for some of this stuff ever. Jody was saying he jumped in to go over the cracks, ever, and it did.
I know.
So that's pretty high. But also, the tide does go back out.
It does.
And even what he's talking about down there with cobblestones, set in, not needing cement, it would take, you know, days of washing over that to erode them. It really would,
Right.
you know? I'm not saying that can't happen, but it's pretty unlikely. It takes a big tide and a wind. And if you don't have both together, it's only so bad, usually.
Yeah, all I'm saying is,
Oh, yeah, and I don't put it all in,
it doesn't make sense to raise money, put it in,
right, and then.
and then waste
Yeah,
the
take
money.
it out.
Yeah, and never find no spot.
Yeah.
Do it one time,
Yeah,
we find a good spot or a high,
yeah.
I reiterated that twice, so hopefully.
On these floodable projects that Kathy talks about, let's consider the rec field as a floodable project. When it floods out, nobody uses it.
Right.
Tide goes out, everybody uses, and it's very infrequently that this occurs. It's gotta be a storm,
Right,
strong southerly,
Everything's gonna line up just right.
high tide,
yeah,
everything lines up, right?
yeah,
So why raise the rec field? If and when it floods out, you just don't use it. And it's usually in the wintertime when it doesn't impact anybody.
Right.
Now, like I say, about 2 or 3 weeks ago now, I asked Ted to look into moving the electrical connection to the pump out station higher so that it won't get flooded out. And he said he was gonna have an electrician take a look at that. I've not heard the results. But as long as the electrical was floodable, if that's a word, we wouldn't have to do anything to that pier. We wouldn't have to raise it. And why would we have to raise the parking lot? And the sea wall that we're talking about, we'll just make that so damn rugged that it doesn't erode with future storms.
I agree,
Why,
I
why
don't
find
buy
all this money for,
you know, big years ago, I'm not buying into it, that's just, once in a great while, it's not gonna be the end of the world, it's not gonna be the, you know, the big apocalypse, it's just, yes, it's an inconvenience, and it is gonna happen.
no,
But if we take the proper precautions and have our electrical up high enough, and everything we need to, not vulnerable down below, the tide always goes back out, you know, it's just,
hopefully.
yeah.
Yeah, I mean, no, and it's.
I mean, I just can't see spending all the money for,
I think it'd be
you
worth,
know, once every,
I think it'd be worth passing this on to the select board.
yeah, I think we need to
To
raise,
let them at least consider that you don't have to raise the entire waterfront
right,
because of what happened last winter.
right.
Okay, so one of the items that, and I don't know if this would go to the comp plan or just go to, be put in the budget, is raising the electric, so it's a high enough to not get
Yeah,
wet.
that's a sewer department's problem, yeah. I mean, it's up pretty high as it is now. Because all the, both pumps in the pump station are submersibles anyway, so it doesn't matter if they get wet. As long as the electrical's up high enough, and it's up. Oh, the bottom of the panel is like that tall from the floor.
And that floods out and it stays full of water for days and weeks. The power supply to the pump out station. It's located at the bottom of the,
The bathrooms.
no, the bottom of the ramp, the walkway that goes out. No,
Oh, okay, I'm talking about the town pump out station for the bathrooms, that's what I'm talking about.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Okay, I misunderstood what you're talking about.
I'm talking the pump out station on the float.
Okay, no, I'm not talking about that, I'm talking about the pump out station, right, where you come into the water
Yeah.
around the corner. Okay. I thought that's the one you were talking about.
No.
Okay, so the pump out, so those seem like not necessarily big bucket items. However, saving the seawall seems like something that should go to that should be a priority, and that should.
That's absolutely pressure.
But I think the seawall could be built anytime, at any elevation, any height, and not consider that it might have water go over. As long as it's built strongly, what does it matter if water goes over?
It doesn't,
Right,
Because we don't get that much current flow there
it
anyway.
doesn't, as long as it's pinned back in well,
Yeah,
it doesn't matter, and poured well.
so if Dennis went out for a bid, request a quote on that, just do it.
Right.
I mean, I don't know that it has to wait for climate control information.
well,
I don't hit,
The seawall's not gonna keep the parking lot from flooding,
it's not, okay.
cause it's gonna come right in the boat ramp.
oh yeah. See, my whole thing
But
is,
like, like you guys said, it's gonna come up and it's gonna go back out.
right, my whole thing is this year, I wanna make sure that two things for us have to happen is, I think we should, right where the walkway is in between the two piers, that is deteriorated. That needs to be removed
Stabilized.
and have rocks in front of it until we get our seawall built. We don't need somebody breaking an ankle, we don't need somebody
I think the rock.
falling down through.
I think it's all.
Right, but I wanna make sure nobody walks on that structure. Get it out of there, same time they take down the ramp between the two, the boat ramp between the two launch ramps.
Remove
When they take that out, and be done with it. That way this, and the insurance company would love it, because there's nobody on it. We don't need a claim against it, because we're not thinking ahead. You know, just take it out, we know it's a problem, we know it's, the back of it, the pinning's not there, let's get it out of there.
Okay, so is that what you're suggesting that we suggest to Dennis and the select board, that they remove the walkway?
Yes, the walkway. Between the two
Okay,
piers, between the electrical outlet by the ice cream shack and the concrete pier, that whole walkway, get it out of there.
okay. So, getting back to, waterfront priority, and I understand that's a priority.
Right, yes,
But when I think about like big, dream and vision things, like we have the Riverwalk. And we thought about, revising our slip project idea, because that would generate revenue for the waterfront. Focusing on that, do you think that's a priority? One of the things when Kathy told us about floodable walkways. We were thinking, okay, maybe now we'll eventually be able to connect the two piers that way with a floodable walkway, because it would, green space, and then you have like your concrete walkway that can withstand being flooded, and it gets, like you were saying, water comes in, water goes out, thing stays put.
Right.
So, I like that idea. So anyway, what do you guys think about pursuing our slip project idea as a big ticket thing?
Did you make any kind of decision on the table at the Earth Day?
We did not make a decision
Okay,
yet.
I just wanted to
Just that
try
we
to-
could have one. And I can't because I don't need you.
Yeah, it's fine.
What we'd like is some like graphics, maybe some of the slides printed off, or these printed off so that we could have them so people can get a visual. We're gonna pursue that.
Yes.
So there were things like, connecting.
We have a, Earth Day where a lot of people are gonna be providing information. And one of the things I'd like to provide is the slip project and tell the public what it is. With some nice graphics on there. And then ask some questions. Why should the town invest in it? Answer, because it will create revenue for the town, enough so it'll pay for the maintenance of all the floats. And
renewable revenue.
yes,
Every-
and we have one at $300,000, which is 14, and I'll also say what the estimated payback, we'll get a grant for 300,000, town pays we pay half, and the grant pays half. So it's $150,000 from the town. I've talked with Chuck Fuller of Booth Bay Harbor, and we talked about this whole thing, and he could do that with $300,000. I said, well, okay. Also informed on this same piece of home core that Peter had, let's go with just 4 slips for $150,000. And then we can add on.
And then we can add on them if we need to.
And then on the bottom, ask the question of the voting person of Wisconsin, which would you prefer the town spend money on? $150,000 for the 14 slips, $75,000 for 4 slips, or 0, the hell with the water.
Right.
That's what I plan to present on Earth Day. If I can get my stuff together.
Like if he was thinking you were gonna make like a poster or something.
Yeah, that's stuff, that's why I'd like to take these. Because I know some of the contain stuff. You know what the first number is here? My eyes aren't that good. It looks like it's 16 feet, the second number. Is it 6 or 5?
It was a picture that Emily gave you.
It doesn't show it.
I don't know, I'm sorry, it's blurry. So that was, and, I think that's a priority, but
So
the,
this is just information to anybody that wants to come on there. It's because what Chuck Fuller said, he said, chances are 85% of the people in town don't want to spend anything on your waterfront. They don't use it, they don't care about it. So he said it's a hard sell. So let's find out what the people want. Instead of the last time we did it, the budget committee was against it because we never talked to them, for one thing. They said payback wasn't quick enough, but it's not a business, it's a town investment. So I'll start there, and if we get all the zeros, I'll abandon
I know my biggest priority, like you said, is I wanna make sure for the boating season, our waterfront is safe and not a liability to our insurance carrier, which I wanna make sure those walkways are out. I wanna make sure that we're ready to go, so the town office doesn't have to get a call saying, look, I just broke my leg down there,
right.
that's my priority. I wanna make sure we do it right.
David, thank you for coming, that's what, we were thinking. We got thinking about why some of our projects never move forward, and we think it's because we aren't very adept at public relations and, marketing, or not marketing, but just providing the public information. Promoting, thank you. Because it seems like with the potential of the railroad, maybe needing to do something at some point. It's almost like, here's our boardwalk, eventually, maybe, could be in 20 years, but, so. Anyways, it was,
It's the 14th slip was the original plan, was it not?
correct,
So.
and then we wanted to maybe
The larger,
jump it up to 21, right?
the economics work out better for the larger, that's why we
Right.
recommend that. Because it actually cash flows better and pays for itself more readily.
So could you maybe ask Chuck for a ballpark on going from 14 to 21 slips, just say.
it. Yes.
Okay.
Good.
I mean, it's all concept and dream at the moment.
I think the idea you can show that it's a positive, it's a revenue producer that pays for itself and pays for its own maintenance, then it's a lot easier to socialize that message with your constituents.
Thank you. So that's our goal. All
That
right.
I actually have to excuse myself. Thanks for leaving.
Thank you so much. Take care. So the public workshop for the comp plan will be on May 11th. So I'll know more after next Wednesday's meeting, what thoughts are, if there's any ideas or thoughts in the meantime, as far as priorities, you think something, you know. Just let me know.
Okay.
And, yeah, and then I can share with you about the birthday. So maybe if we get it together, we'll have the birthday presentation, celebration, excuse me. Okay, one more thing. I received Ron's renewal application for, forgotten recipes. And it needs to be approved. Or recommended, rather. So it's the same as it's always been, pay his electric, pay for his footprint. I just didn't bring the application with me. How do you guys feel?
You're supposed to move
Doesn't he need to
it
do
back.
a wee bit of maintenance?
Well, he did the roof,
He fixed the roof?
yeah, the roof done,
Okay,
and, but it's in an odd. I don't know, and I've asked him, and, you know, we'll help you move the thing, you know, back a little bit. It's, you know. It's like almost in the entrance, literally, you know,
so where is it supposed to move?
it's supposed to move back and over towards Sarah's.
Okay, more into the corner,
Well, not way in the corner, but
but that's
it,
right.
you're right, if it went back, you know, even 6 feet. In either direction.
He's got 28 feet, 6 inches long way towards Route 1 and 18 and a half that he's paid for going this way.
Yeah,
So that's what he can move back. That's what his spot is.
right,
That's how big it is. So he's got a little bit of room.
Closer to the wall.
See, he can't go too far towards the train car.
right,
Because then you're gonna walk off that other spot.
right,
But he can still go to his edge that he's paid for,
yeah,
which is 18 and
Which
a half
is at
feet.
the fence.
No, which is 18 and a half feet from walking up onto the pier. There's Sprague's Lobster on this side, Forgotten Recipes on this side. Right, where you walk up on the pier. It's 18 and a half feet from there this way. That's what he's paid for,
Mhm.
and 28 and a half feet back. That's what he's paid for.
right,
So that's his spot. He can move anywhere in there he like,
in that veranda,
in that spot.
yeah,
Or you can move to the train car spot, over by the train car where Sal was.
Okay, so if we approve this under the conditions that he will move to, how about if you work that out with him? To move where you're saying, it's hard for me to,
Yeah,
Why does he have to move?
that was, this,
wasn't it to get closer to the electric outlet?
no, we'd be going further away.
yeah, I don't see him moving it, I don't know, unless I moved it, I don't know that he could move.
Because it doesn't matter like spot wise anymore, because he's taking his footprint. And he can't run an extension cord without one of those power things covering the cord.
Right. Right, they sold them at Lowe's where you've got the rubber thing, and the cord goes inside, and it's secure, so it's not a fire hazard for the pier.
And the produce guy needs to understand, and we told him that up front, they can't, if you can't upgrade your power, you can't run a business there, you can't do it.
Yeah, so, well,
There's not enough power.
we might get it all straightened out once they figure out which outlets are what.
Right.
Okay,
Well, they tried to do it last year, and I don't know why it's so confusing.
I don't understand I don't get it, and I don't know what the mystery
What
is.
did you think?
Because we're not talking to the electrician for one thing.
Yeah,
It's
And he
being,
doesn't, know what we want.
well, Ted has them all numbered. He's got them numbered and they match the numbers in the panel.
but they're not,
But maybe they're
they
not.
don't work.
They don't work.
They,
Well,
right.
When I went and checked them, they did.
Well,
That's-
you
that's down
you
there.
think they work?
I mean, there was summer.
The electrical thing is working, right? But was the metering process working? That's what's not
Well, that
working.
was a couple of years ago, and Molly seemed to think it would be fine. That she did they were keeping track, but that was a couple of years ago. I don't know about last year.
All right.
Okay, so we'll get that straightened out.
Okay.
And what are you thinking about Ron moving? Yes or no? Because I mean,
I can
it's,
meet him down there.
huh?
I can meet him down there and show him what his footprint is.
So is he outside of his footprint?
No,
No, but I want him to know how much he has for footprint, so he doesn't embellish on the next
Well,
law.
it sounds like it's in a position that's awkward.
It is awkward.
yeah, and I mean, if I hadn't told him, he wanted to move literally right up onto the railing.
He can't do that.
And I said, Ron, they gotta be able to at least walk around your building, and he thinks he's gonna lose business from moving. He should have stayed where he was. He did more business. Because when they first walk onto that dog, they have one thing in mind, and then they'll walk around, is what happens every time, but anyways, he moved, and that's that.
Okay, so,
Where was he before? That
He used to be where the park was.
Yeah.
Oh,
oh, he was more in the middle?
Which is an ideal spot. That is the perfect spot, because now you're on the dog, and now you see our place, and then, ooh, that's his place. It's right front and center.
Yeah, well, people still wander.
Well, they do once they get onto the dog,
See, there's two spots right there.
right,
There's another spot
yeah,
beside, forgotten recipes is here, there's a spot here where Sal was, and there's another spot beside the pottery guy
behind it, yeah,
behind it.
yeah. Which
So
is a
you
good
go to
spot.
one. But I wanted to know exactly how much room he's got. So he doesn't block another vendor spot, if we get another vendor.
Right.
I don't wanna have him be halfway through the season, oh, you gotta move,
Has that new vendor actually put an application in?
Not yet.
Taco
The
Mouse?
top-
Yeah.
No, not yet.
That hasn't been put in.
He's gotta get a business license, doesn't
He has,
Yeah,
yeah, he has to get all his DHS stuff approved.
Yeah,
He's got a lot.
he's gotta wait.
And the produce guy does too. That's something that's gonna happen.
Sage?
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's,
Oh, he might just have his farmer's market, huh? I thought that was part of his plan last week. Okay, so how should we, what do you think about how we will approve, Ron?
no, I say proven, but
Approve him contingent on him,
then he meets with me and I can show him where to go,
yeah.
not literally, but.
I'm putting that in the minutes.
Yeah. That's a
I
question.
have a question.
about placement, right? Okay.
Sue, you got a question?
Oh, thank you.
Back to improvements for a second. I understand that there's gonna be no fees for launching. Is the launch going to be, the public launch is going to be improved this year? Is that in the work schema?
It's gonna be, that launch thing's gonna be ripped down, torn out of there, the rocks are gonna be leveled out so vehicles can back in there without getting damaged.
Uh-huh.
But, we have known that the guy that was gonna do the floating ramps that we're gonna put in like that has.
Right.
Now says he can't do it till the fall.
He can't afford the bulkhead up by where the steps are
Right,
until fall.
really?
So, yeah, so it's gonna be just two ramps and we're gonna level out the rock, so it's gonna be,
And last I knew, Dennis was gonna put out, what is it called, RFP?
RFPs.
yeah.
Yeah, so maybe somebody could,
Maybe somebody will do it.
but then it's gonna be the money.
It would be really nice. I mean, we have the worst public launches in the entire river. I mean, they're just terrible. It's just
shape.
Oh, then a lot nicer now, they get repaid,
Yeah,
but we need
No, it was-
someplace to launch to, you know?
Yeah.
yeah, I think the RFP's in the works, right?
And we do have a place that's better than that,
Right.
which they don't seem to wanna,
Which that
I
dog
won't
was
get along
going
with my
down,
boat.
Which place is that?
down by the fair landing, down,
that one made Yankees.
I mean,
Right.
the dock that was on the end of
Absolutely.
the pier that we're gonna be ripping out is going down there, so.
And that's got a huge back on,
That's a huge back on,
up inside.
yeah,
And the diggers use it,
right.
but it's almost like people,
See, they use it because they don't have to pay, it's so much easier for them.
yeah, I know.
It's closer to the flats.
I'm scared of it, I wouldn't want to go grab my boat,
That is scary.
I wouldn't want to do it.
What, launch one? Well,
It's
you,
not my big boat.
Oh, it's
you,
gradual.
you gotta be prepared, that's all, you know?
I mean, you have to
Have
have,
two people.
number one, you go down in there, it's like, you can't go anywhere.
Yeah.
So you gotta go into the parking lot and then somehow back down that whole way. And, it's just much easier to go to Westport Island.
That's where I.
Oh, well, Westport,
Yeah, that's where I.
Yeah.
but Westport's a beautiful,
Oh, yeah.
it is,
See, Westport's a nice landing, but ours could be too, it's just
yeah, it could be,
getting these grants, you know,
yeah.
it's all a big process, we're just falling behind.
Well, as we know, a lot of people that launch their boats in the spring use that landing.
Right,
So.
that's what the camera's gonna do for us, you know, well, we'll get them
We
on.
can keep track this year.
Yeah.
You know, if we leave the piece. Motion to adjourn, if there's nothing else?
Yeah.
Second,
So,
all in favor?
absolutely.
Henry, when we're doing dinner?
Oh, boy. Oh, boy, oh, boy.
I almost didn't make it to the meeting because Laura's home sick,
Oh, no.
so I gotta take the dogs for a walk, but Luna didn't want to come.
How old is that
That's
dog?
true.
This one,
Yeah,
14,
14, good for you.
I don't know, maybe 11.
I know what's going this month.
I think 14. Here we go.
Just wanted to introduce myself. My name is Isabella and I just started with the Times Record.
Oh, okay.
I grew up in Hartselle, I'll be covering Hartselle with passing into the spring, so you might see me around.
First time I've seen her report again.
I just moved back to Maine